In 2023, YouTube brought in 30% of the revenue into my business. But here's the really interesting part. I maybe only spent 5% of my time on YouTube. Why does this matter? Well, it means I got maximum output for very little input. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what I did and how you can start incorporating it into your business. Hi, my name is Amanda Obeya. Welcome to Make Money Your Honey. On this channel, we talk sales, systems, marketing, and mindset so you can simplify your business and amplify your life. And in this video, we're going to be talking about one of the best ways you can simplify your life, which is by starting to use YouTube as an inbound lead generation strategy in your business. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video on this channel. I also have some gifts for you. You can find them in the description. You're going to find all kinds of free resources, from content marketing calendars to how to build a referral partner network to sales training. It is all in the description below, and those resources might be able to give you a lot more of an in-depth explanation of some of the things that I talk about in this video. Okay, so let's talk about YouTube and how I used to run my business before YouTube and how I'm starting to run my business now. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I'm into this like soft life business, right? So I used to run businesses where I really had to hustle. So in my first business, I was a freelance writer and content marketer for financial companies. I was literally like pitching every day and like writing away. And I was making, starting to make really good money, but I ran into a problem, which was in order to keep making good money, then I had to take on more clients, which meant I had to work more hours, and I didn't want to work more hours. And even if I did want to work more hours, eventually I would just hit a cap again. I was talking to one of our Persuade to Profit sales training clients, who is a colleague of mine back from my financial writing days. And that's the situation she finds herself in right now. She's making really good money as a freelance financial writer. The problem is that if she wanted to make $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month like we can over here, then she would literally have to run herself into the ground in order to do it. So that was the first business, and that was the problem I ran into there. Then I made a big pivot and I started teaching people online business. Specifically, I started training them on how to sell. I became very well known as a really good sales trainer, particularly for women-owned businesses. Now, because I was essentially starting a new business, because it was a pretty big pivot from the first business, then I had to do a lot of outbound selling. I had to get in the DMs. I had to get in front of people. I had to send emails, and on occasions there were text messages and phone calls. I had to go to a bunch of networking events. Like, I was really pounding the pavement for a while there. And when the pandemic happened, in 2020, it's not like that stopped, right? Because I was pounding the pavement in person in a lot of ways. Well, then I was just pounding the pavement online with all the online networking events and still in the DMs. So not much changed in 2020 or 2021 in that regard. Now, what happened is I'm actually really good at sales. So my business started to explode. And, it got to a point where it was unsustainable. I was working insane hours. I was starting to work through weekends. I was having team problems, systems problems. My dad was in and out of the hospital for 8 months at the same time. There were other family health issues going on. There was just like a 2-3 year period there that got really freaking intense. And it was during the pandemic at the same time. So it was just a really intense time. And I essentially collapsed is what happened. And I had to take time off from working and get myself together, make sure family was good, all that kind of stuff. And when I started rising from the ashes or coming up from them, I realized that I had to do business in a very different way. I had to do business in a way that was far more systematic. I had to do business in a way where more business was coming to me. I had to start doing business in a way that was more data driven rather than intuition driven. I did a video on that recently on intuition versus data. and what that balance might look like for each person. In my case, I had to do stuff that was more data driven rather than intuition driven. And I had to build a machine. I had to build a machine of a business in order for me to live the way that I wanted to live, which was, in partnership, which was present for my relationships, which was traveling often, living in other countries. Now all of which I'm doing, by the way. So one of the things that I was thinking about is like, okay, well, how can I just get people coming to me? And YouTube is a really great way of doing that. Now, what I'm about to say did not freaking happen overnight. Okay, I had spurts where I would like go hard on YouTube and really experiment with YouTube and then go on hiatus because there were other things going on in my business and in my life. And what's interesting is even with all these hiatuses, even with me not really even be able to spend a lot of time on YouTube in 2023, it still brought in 30% of the revenue in my 6-figure business. How do we know that? One of the reasons we know that is because we track where every single lead and every single client comes from. This is actually something we help a lot of our 7-figure clients with. We help them with lead tracking and lead behavior and lead scoring, because you need to know where people are coming from in order for you to be able to make data-driven decisions. So in our case, we track where every single lead comes from. So we know that YouTube was one of our top lead sources in 2023, even though I had to take a ton of hiatuses because I was traveling, I was moving to another country, and we moved into this house. We had to renovate the house. There was family stuff going on. We were traveling for full-time for 2 months. So even though all of that was going on and I couldn't really be on YouTube, to have 30% of your revenue still come from that speaks volumes about the tool that we have at our disposal. So I got a request to break down what I did on YouTube and what I'm currently doing on YouTube to make that work. So number one, I'm gonna be honest here, like I've had a lot of practice on video. Even in my first business where I would get hired as talent, sometimes for like financial companies or other businesses where I was teaching finance. I mean, I remember getting hired by a credit bureau to be a spokesperson for a new product in my first business. And I did 24 TV and radio interviews in a 4-hour period in a studio in New York. So I've had a lot of practice on video. I remember having another client, it was more of a personal development brand. I was teaching finance. I filmed like 100-something videos in 48 hours for those guys in Orlando. So I've had a lot of practice on being on camera and on video, which of course helps me be able to create a lot of content very quickly. So one of the things that I want to say is just practice and get stuff done and get the peanut butter out of your mouth and do it over and over and over again, like I did in some extreme ways. And it'll make everything that I'm about to say a whole lot easier. So I just wanted to preface with that. So the first thing is obviously you have to create content based on what people are searching for. It's called search engine optimization. All YouTube is a search database, just like Google. In fact, it's owned by Google. It's the same algorithm. For example, a lot of people find my channel because of a video I did about how to set up a LinkedIn profile. And they will look up LinkedIn sales on Google, and my YouTube video pops up on Google. That is the power of search engine optimization. And the more people watch it and the more people search for it and the more people comment on it, the more it keeps showing up on search. There's other videos that I have on this channel about sales follow-up that when I first published it, and it's a horrendous video from an editing perspective, but when I first published it, nobody saw it, but then now it's got like 2,000 views on it and we're getting leads from it. So these are videos that I made a long time ago, but because the search engine optimization is so good, it keeps bringing in leads consistently. So that's number one. What are people actually searching for in your industry that you can answer via video and then make sure that those search terms or that question is being addressed in the video? Once you start doing that, and in the beginning, it might look like a lot of experimenting. You just put a bunch of stuff out there because you don't really know, and that's okay. But once you've got like, I don't know, I want to say 8 to, I would actually push it beyond 8. I'm going to go with like 15 to 20 videos because I go to extremes and I want as much data as possible. You're going to start being able to notice what people are responding to. And the way that you do that is you can go YouTube Studio Analytics and it will tell you, or you can sign up for tools like vidIQ. You just hook up your channel to vidIQ and vidIQ will tell you exactly what is going on, what people are responding to. And in addition to that, it will make suggestions on videos and topics you can cover based on the performance of your channel, which is one of the reasons why I love that tool. So once you start getting data on what is working, you just double and triple down on what is working. Because essentially what's happening is you are creating what I call Google juice, right? And what's happening is Google is picking up on this stuff, and now you're ranking for certain keywords, or now you're ranking for certain things. Another way that people find this channel is expat in Mexico. Just because I did like 2 videos on being an expat in Mexico to just kind of give you guys a life update on what was going on. And now that's a huge way that people find this channel. So you'll see that in a lot of my titles and things because I know it's something that people are interested in. I also rank for lead generation strategies. So you're going to see a lot of videos about lead generation strategies. Okay, the other thing to keep in mind is you'll notice these videos are not like hyper edited. It's not like cinema quality video. In fact, my highest performing videos are literally terrible. The lighting is off, the audio is off, everything's off, and they still perform really well. Why? Because the content is actually helpful and really valuable and helps a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people spend way too much time, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people spend way too much time on trying to be perfect with the lighting, the audio, the this, what angle is the camera, you know, did I say the perfect thing, did I say right, like who cares? The point is just talk. Just talk and provide something valuable, and if it's valuable enough, I promise you they don't give a shit what the video looks like. They will keep watching, they will keep sharing, and they will keep commenting. So that's an important notion. Everybody freaks out about the equipment. Like, I'm filming this on an iPhone right now. Just make sure the content is valuable. A lot of people spend way too much time on the production and not enough time on the value and just getting the thing out. The other thing that I do really well is when I am teaching things in videos, I make sure to very naturally mention the programs that we have available, mention the resources that we have available. Oftentimes within the first 2 minutes of the video itself, I have already done several calls to action where I've asked you to subscribe, I've asked you to like the video, I've mentioned that there's resources in the description. Sometimes we'll have a very specific resource or opt-in, like the referral partner guide is one that I mention a lot. Usually I mention it in the first 2 minutes of the video, which by the way, you can go check out all that stuff in the description. See, I just did it. And then finally, what we did is on the back end of the business, meaning like once we've gotten your attention, right? And once you've signed up for one of the free resources, well, that's where our automations take over. Those are automations in email, those are automations in text messages, those are automations in ringless voicemail drops. Essentially everything a salesperson should be doing, we automated as much of it as humanly possible. And one of the reasons I get a lot of pushback on the text messages and ringless voicemails, you can push back all you want. The statistics speak for themselves. People who give you a phone number or a far more qualified lead, if you catch them in the first 5 minutes, there's a 100x chance that they're going to convert into a client. And with all the freaking changes going on with Google and Yahoo and all these email requirement changes, it's getting harder and harder for people to use email marketing in a very effective way, which means you better start asking for phone numbers, for text messages and voicemail drops. You heard it here first. So anyway, our effortless sales engine, as we call it, which by the way, we now teach this, you can find the information in the description, takes over from there. And in about 4 months, based on the data that we have available right now, somebody goes from just finding me on YouTube to becoming a paid client. Now that I have all that data, what we can do is we could just optimize this process, right? Which means I could put more content out on YouTube. I'm in the process of filming about 16 videos. Maybe it took me a couple of days out of the month to get 16 videos for the month out, which are going to be search engine optimized, which are going to keep going and going and going and going and going for all freaking eternity and bringing me leads and leads and leads. And eventually it builds and builds and builds. One of the people that we're modeling ourselves after right now is Nomad Capitalist. Nomad Capitalist puts out about 5 videos a day. They're search engine optimized. Some of it is like news stories and some of it is more timeless. And all his leads are inbound, all of it. And he's attracting 7 and 8 figure businesses and entrepreneurs and investors into his sales pipeline. So I hope you guys found this really helpful. If you want me to break these things down further, just let me know. Maybe I could do a video series on it. We do cover more leveraged marketing strategies in our Effortless Sales Engine program, because the goal is, okay, well, how do I do one action that is going to yield me an exponential result without me having to exert more effort? And I now have this specific data where I can confirm that YouTube is definitely an area that you want to focus on if you want less effort for maximum return. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this and what kinds of other videos you would like on the channel. You can check out all our resources and programs in the description, and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video.